So, hello, everybody. Welcome here to our IT 297, 299 internship interviews. This time in the spring 2026, bit of an upgrade. We're in our podcast room here, so it's pretty cool. But the first person that I'm talking to this semester is Logan Adams. How you doing, Logan?
I'm good.
So, Logan, I know you're one of our students in the Network and Cloud Administration program. You may have heard these before, but for anybody who hasn't, Stanley always says any comic book. He used to say any comic book could be someone's first comic book. So kind of give them the introduction. So I'll do the introduction here and say that what I like to do is I like to talk to you about how you got into IT along the way. And so and see what your path was here to Mount West and talk about your internship and advice you'd have for people out there as well. So, the first question I typically have for people is, when did the IT bug bite you? In what form did that take?
Well, it was my last year of high school, and I was looking into what I wanted to do. And I came across this, and then I asked my aunt because her brother-in-law did this, and I talked to him, and it was something I wanted to do.
Had you already messed with computers at the house? Or
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit?
Yeah.
Okay. And so you were looking at doing IT, computer, help desk, that type of things? Okay. And and so you came here. Did you end up talking to me originally? I can't remember if you talked to one of the advisors downstairs.
I talked to Olivia Lane.
Oh, Olivia? Okay. And she got you all squared away. And so, at this point now, you're in your fourth semester. You're finishing up the program. Looking back from where you are and talking to people that may be in their first semester or somewhere in the middle there, is there any advice you would have for them based on your trajectory through the classes?
Don't stress about it. Your teachers are there to help you. Just ask questions. If you're struggling, just ask. They will help and assist you.
I think that's very good advice. I can't tell you the number of people that email me and they're like, sorry to bother you. They started off with that. And I'm like, my job is to help you learn this stuff. Like, you're not bothering me. Ask away. That way you can advocate for yourself and get the answer you want. So I think that's excellent advice. So you're doing your internship at Alpha Technologies. Before you started working there, had you already had a job before?
Just babysitting for a family friend.
Okay. So were there any expectations you had going into that job and then you were surprised about, or was it how you kind of expected, or had your relative kind of giving you an idea?
He kind of gave me an idea what it'd be like as an intern starting out, that you would just help desk and observe and learn. So that's pretty much exactly what I've been doing.
Okay. Was there anything that surprised you about the job?
I thought it would be more stressful, that it was my first IT job, but they're really helpful and it hasn't been stressful at all.
That's awesome. I imagine them too as well. Like they're very eager for you if you've got questions that they'll answer those questions to go ahead and get you squared away.
Yes, they do.
That's good. Based on what you're doing there, what's a normal day look like for you there at Alpha?
Right now, I'm just doing locate tickets, where you locate fiber in a new work area. And then when the phone comes in, I'll be taking phone calls. Okay, that's cool. So you don't have to do any driving. You're basically there on location the whole time? They've sent me on site with other people before just to observe, which was really fun and awesome. That's
cool. Well, I just asked because if people have heard Alpha talk before, if they're considering working there, whether you have to drive to locations, if you got that opportunity, if you're one location, I just figured asking you to kind of give them an idea of your experience.
You get to go, but you don't have to drive yourself.
Okay.
At least I haven't had to yet.
Sure. Anything else out there you can think of for people who haven't had a job in IT that would be useful to know, or advice you'd have for them in that particular area?
Do your research on talking to people, like communication, because if you're going to be answering phone, you got to be able to talk to them.
That kind of actually leads me into one of my next questions. You're talking to people on phones. They're calling you about a problem they're having in IT. How what do you do? What advice do you have to make sure that you can convey to them what to do, but you've got the IT knowledge and they don't? So how can you talk on their level?
You first try to see what the problem is and explain to them the problem, and then what I would do is work them step by step so they get the idea of what to do and how to do it.
Very cool. And then that way, they feel like they learned something. You fix their goal for them, and so everything works out good there. So, based on your experience here at Alpha, based on you finishing up, what do you think your next steps are going to be out there?
Probably maybe get some certifications.
Mm-hmm. Are you considering trying to see like if Alpha would potentially hire you full time? Are you going to go full time into IT? Are you going to continue your education, or what's your plans? Are you still just thinking about it now?
I'm hoping Alpha hires me on full time, and then maybe in the future go back to school.
Okay, good plan. Any advice? Kind of once again asking that. Any advice that you've had based on your path here? Advice to do someone's internship that you would have for somebody based on where you are now and where they're going to be hopefully one day.
If it's something you want to do, try and pursue it. And like if you're working a job and you don't know what to do, just ask the people around you. They want to help you.
I think that's excellent advice. We see a lot of stuff on TV. Like I think about there was Saturday Night Live skits all the time. Nick Burns, your company's computer guy, that Jimmy Fallon did, and in that he's very abrasive. He's very mean. He treats people, not kindly. Most IT companies will not stay in business if they treat clients that way. And so we're very blessed and lucky to have around here a lot of IT companies that wants you all to come in. Wanted Logan to come in and wanted to be able to learn how to do the job. They want to train you all up to where you can be an additional IT person in the industry here in the local area. So yeah, realize, when you step foot in that door, having your mind that they want to help you succeed. Because if you can succeed, then they can succeed. So I think that's great advice. So does anybody out there in class have any questions here today for Logan about potentially for Alpha Technologies or his classes here or general questions you all may have? You mentioned you were considering taking some certifications, Logan. Mm-hmm. Has Alpha talked to you all there about what certifications would be useful for you to have to be full-time there?
They haven't talked to me about it, but I also haven't asked yet.
Mm-hmm.
But I know some have some in AC800 and Microsoft. So I think it just depends on what you want to take the certification in.
I know that Alpha Technologies does a lot of Cisco work. So if you had your CCNA, I would have to think that would be the routing and switching, that would be valuable to have. But also on the help desk, I imagine you will hear a lot about 365.
Yes. And
so along those lines, that would be like your AZ800, 801, or AZ900, the Azure Fundamentals. That would show you have competency in 365 communication. There's another question here. Did you find it difficult at first learning and remembering the amount of information needed in the classes? And when did it start to stick for you?
For the first semester, yes. But then once I got used to all the information I had to do, it got easier and easier once you started to learn it more and more.
Okay. I mean, because we do talk about it feels like you're trying to get a drink of water from a fire hose.
Yeah.
It's a lot of data. And that's on and Logan is in my Microsoft side, but I know, Rod, it doesn't matter which side you're on, you're going to be getting inundated with a lot of information all the time. But do you, to kind of go a little bit further with that, do you feel like the reason why the second semester it started to stick is because you kept on hearing some repeating things?
Yes, and I would, after the Zoom stuff, and I would go back and rewatch them so I process what I would miss.
That's a good point. I mean, the nice thing is, Zan, Gary, me, we all record the Zoom meetings, and so yeah, if for some reason your dog's barking, your kids are distracting you or whatever, you can always go back there and try to rewatch that and see if it makes sense a second time. That's good advice. But yeah, I would throw out there the thing I always try to tell people is that you're going to hear this stuff time and time again. The majority of the classes I teach are for people who are in my network and cloud administration program. And I try my best to reference and say, you remember in Brandon Richmond's information, storage class, we talked about blah, blah, blah. Well, we're talking about it again. I try to reinforce that in class just to say, remember, you've heard this stuff before. And so it is a lot of information to hear the first time, but then after a while you start to, it's almost like if you woke up and you thought you were in an ocean and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm in an ocean. And then you start to swim one way and you realize you're just in a really big swimming pool. Eventually you start to figure out where the edges are of all that knowledge, and it starts to calm you down a little bit to go, oh, okay, I don't have to be so crazy anxious about this because there's a finite amount of information. It's just not going to keep on pouring the whole time. So I don't want to put words in your mouth, but I imagine that's what you're saying. Like after a while you did see it wasn't just all new information all the time, and that there was some repetitive stuff.
Yeah, stuff would move over to the next class.
Yeah. So
just remember, most classes are the same material, just added on information.
That's true. Oftentimes you hear about it from a beginner standpoint, and then you hear about it where they pepper in some more advanced stuff, and then the expert level where it's like we're going to reinforce all these pieces. So yeah, that's a great point. Any other questions out there today for Logan? Jeff has a great question. Speaking about your information and trying to absorb it, did you find it easier to start absorbing the information when you were on your internship and you could finally start doing a lot of the stuff? Did it seem easier at that point? Because
you've already learned it and now you're actually doing it, so you process what you learned.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, the internship helps to get you a line on the resume, but it also helps for you to kind of have those aha moments to be like, oh, that's what we were talking about in our second semester or whatnot. So yeah, I imagine you feel that same way, Jeff, that things are starting to stick to with your internship. So in your estimation, what you're doing there, what do you feel that Alpha Technologies as an IT company focuses on? They're an MSP, right? Mm-hmm. They got a lot of clients. What have they shown you, or what have you seen that they mainly do for their clients?
Right now they're actually replacing a bunch of their computers with upgraded ones. So that's really what they're doing right now. That's what I've seen so far.
Okay.
And I actually got to set one up the other day.
That's cool.
Down at the Putnam County Courthouse.
Okay, so like Putnam County Courthouse is one of their clients. I know that they have a location in Hurricane, but they also have a location in South Charleston. That's called their data center, right? Yeah. Have you got to work up there at the data center at all?
No, I've just heard about it.
Yeah, well, I know that they do some hosting up there, and they're talking about building a place down here in Huntington as well. Potentially. So they are an MSP, and they have mainly local clients. Mm-hmm. Have you heard, do they also have a place down in Tennessee? I think they have a couple locations.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, so they have a couple locations that are more widespread than just West Virginia. But mainly they are an MSP. My assumption, Jeff, would be that they're probably close to what Netronom does as well, guessing. But what I would say is they're probably, to contrast with them, they're different than Intiva down the hall here, because in Intiva, every phone call you receive is not a company that you could leave the building and drive to, whereas you have the ability, like you said, to go to the courthouse in Putnam County and replace stuff. So they have a lot of local clients that they're servicing there as well. So, but good question, sir. Oh yeah, and his follow-up question was, what is the position you are wanting to get there?
Well, for starting out, I think it'd just be IT technician / help desk.
Because right now you could probably say like you're a part-time tier 1, right? And you'd like to kind of maybe move up to like a tier 2 help desk, that type of thing. Okay. Speaking of that, can you give us some sort of ideas about some of the IT topics you've had to help people with when it comes to their help desk tickets? Has it been like email and Microsoft and other stuff?
One was resetting a password, and the lady was connected to the VPN, which she actually just needed to be connected to the regular network, and she couldn't figure out how to do that. So we helped her, and she had to reset her password.
That happens. But it's mainly been Microsoft stuff for you, like Azure, stuff like that, 365 hosted stuff. Okay. Logan, I want to thank you so much for sitting down with me and talking about your time there at Alpha Technologies doing your internship. We had quite a few questions here today. That was awesome. It kind of gives people the ability to hear about advice you would have being kind of an upperclassman to them, but also have an experience working at Alpha so they can have an idea. My hope is to have Alpha Technologies be at the expo on April 17th. So if people wanted to come to that on that Friday, April 17th, you'd be able to talk to a lot of the people there that are at Alpha Technologies where Logan's working. So that is the plan. So thank you so much, sir.